In an ancient art gallery in Yorkshire, a mysterious painting appears. A young girl riding a black horse across a stone bridge, her face shadowed eyes deep with a haunting secret. Stranger still, the girl looks exactly like Emily, the gallery's current caretaker. Night after night, she is haunted by foggy dreams where horse hooves echo like a call from another realm. A century-old secret lies buried, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover the truth. Are you ready to step into this chilling and emotional journey? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button now so you won't miss the thrilling, captivating, and deeply emotional stories we bring you every week. Join us as we unravel untold mysteries. The scene opens with the setting of an old art gallery in Yorkshire, a place that holds stories from the past within its walls. This gallery is renowned for its magnificent artworks from various centuries, with each painting being a doorway to another time. But today, something unusual is about to be uncovered. On a foggy early morning, when the first rays of sunlight pierce through the window, the gallery curator steps inside with a feeling of calm. He walks through the old masterpieces, gently touching the frames, when his eyes catch an unfamiliar painting. This painting, hidden behind others, depicts a young girl riding a black horse crossing a stone bridge in the midst of thick fog. The scene is hazy and mystical, as if it doesn't belong to this world. A strange sensation rises in the curator's chest as he stands before the beauty of the painting, mesmerized. The girl in the painting, with her distant gaze and thoughtful expression, seems to be searching for something carrying a weight that no one understands. But what is most peculiar is that this painting doesn't exist in the gallery's records. Surprised, the curator looks for a note, some clue to confirm the origin of the painting. But there is no trace. No one has ever mentioned this artwork. The sensation of confusion and curiosity grows stronger in him. He decides to call an urgent meeting with art experts to verify the authenticity of this piece. The room fills with shock and excitement as the experts gather, debating this unexpected discovery. Everyone is caught up in a lively discussion, all puzzled by the existence of this painting. But what follows is even more astonishing. As one expert approaches the painting, his eyes widen in surprise. The girl in the painting looks exactly like the curator's granddaughter, Emily, who is standing right there at that moment. The gallery is submerged in a heavy silence. No one says a word, but everyone can feel the oddity of the situation. Emily, the gallery keeper, with her gentle smile, now stares at the painting, an unease swelling within her. The light from the painting reflects in her eyes, making it impossible for her to look away, as though an invisible force is pulling her into the mysterious world within it. The light from the gallery lamps shines on the painting, creating long, shimmering shadows that amplify the painting's eerie atmosphere. The sharp features of the girl in the painting, along with the black horse, make the surroundings feel more and more surreal and ominous. There is a strange sense that this painting is not just a piece of art, but a portal to an unsolved mystery. The light from the lamps creates long, glimmering shadows across the room, intensifying the eerie and mystical atmosphere. The sense of the supernatural fills the gallery, leaving everyone present with a chilling, inexplicable feeling, as though something is lurking, waiting to reveal itself. All of them feel a strange fear that cannot be explained, as if this painting is trying to connect the past with the present. And perhaps Emily is the key to unlocking all of its secrets. But will this painting really bring the answers to what happened? Or will it only lead to more confusion? This translation retains the narrative's original tone and style, following the storytelling approach you requested. The first night was the hardest. Emily had never been one to fear the dark, yet that night the shadows seemed to close in on her. She had fallen asleep in the small room at the back of the gallery, her bed pushed against the wall, with a dim light from the hallway casting a faint glow across the floor. But it wasn't the darkness that disturbed her. It was the images that haunted her dreams. In the dream, Emily was riding a black horse, the same one from the painting, galloping through a dense fog that seemed to stretch endlessly into nothingness. The air was cold, biting at her skin, but she didn't feel it. All that mattered was the horse, the rhythmic pounding of its hooves, and the eerie silence that surrounded them. No matter how hard she tried, The fog seemed to thicken, blurring her vision and swallowing the path ahead. She knew the bridge was near, but it always felt just out of reach, like a cruel mirage that never quite materialized. As she rode faster, the horse's mane whipping in the wind, she felt a deep sense of loss. It was as if she was searching for something. Someone, yet she couldn't remember what or who. The further they went, the more she felt as though she was slipping away from reality, like she was no longer herself, but a part of this strange world. Her heart pounded in her chest, yet she couldn't stop. Emily woke with a start, gasping for air, her hands gripping the edge of her bed. Her heart was racing, and for a long moment she couldn't shake the feeling that the dream had been more than just a dream. There was something real about it, something she couldn't explain. The remnants of the fog lingered in her mind, the vision of the bridge and the horse, the sensation of being trapped in another world. It didn't make sense. But the dream felt like a memory she wasn't sure she was supposed to have. The next night, the dream came again, and the next, and the next. It was always the same, riding through the fog, the sound of the hooves, the feeling of loss. Each time, the dream became more vivid, more real. She could see the details of the horse, the way its muscles rippled under its dark coat, the way its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. Each time, the feeling of dread grew stronger, but she couldn't stop herself. It was as if something beyond her control was pulling her deeper into this world. Emily's waking hours were no better. During the day, the fog and the horse lingered in her mind, refusing to let go. She began to sketch compulsively, unable to stop herself. She would find herself sitting in front of the canvas, her hands moving of their own accord, painting scenes from the dream, adding more details each time. It wasn't long before the walls of her small room were covered in her work scenes of fog-covered bridges, dark horses, and mysterious figures standing in the distance. But there was something more, something unsettling. The images were always changing, becoming darker and more distorted with each new piece. The figures in the background, once vague and blurry, were now taking form, and with it a sense of foreboding that Emily couldn't shake. One painting in particular haunted her. It was of the girl from the original painting, the one on the black horse. But now the girl's face was obscured, replaced by Emily's own face. It was as if she was seeing herself through the eyes of the girl from the past, trapped in the same endless fog. Emily couldn't understand what it meant. But the image felt like it was calling her, urging her to understand something she wasn't yet ready to grasp. She spent hours in front of the mirror, staring at herself, trying to make sense of it all. There was no logic to any of it, but the pull was undeniable. Each time she looked at her reflection, it was as if the girl from the painting was staring back at her. It wasn't just the resemblance, it was the way the reflection seemed to move with a mind of its own. Emily would blink, and in the instant her eyes closed, the reflection would shift slightly, as if it were trying to reach out to her. She had never felt this way before, like she was losing herself to something beyond her control. The reflection in the mirror seemed to mock her, trapping her between her own identity and that of the girl from the painting. Emily wasn't sure if she was becoming the girl or if the girl was becoming her. It was late one evening, after hours of painting and restless thoughts, when she noticed something strange. The reflection in the mirror, her own reflection, began to smile. It was a small, knowing smile, one that seemed to be both comforting and terrifying at the same time. It was as if the girl in the painting had finally broken free of the canvas and was now standing there, right in front of her. Emily's heart raced as she reached out her hand, trembling, but the reflection remained just out of reach. And then, for a split second, she thought she saw the girl from the painting move. No, not move, but shift. As if the reflection had a life of its own, as if Emily herself had become the reflection trapped in the world of the painting, and the girl was now free. In that moment, Emily understood. The painting wasn't just a portrait of the past, it was a gateway, a mirror into another world, and Emily was no longer just an observer. She was part of the story, and the story was not finished yet. This part delves deeper into Emily's growing obsession. Blending vivid descriptions of her nightmares with her compulsive need to create, capturing the emotional weight of her descent into the mystery surrounding the painting. The night had settled in with an oppressive stillness, the air thick with the weight of unspoken secrets. Emily sat in her small room, the soft flicker of a candle the only source of light. The painting, which had been hanging on the wall for weeks, stood as a constant reminder of the eerie connection between herself and the girl on horseback. She had been trying to make sense of it all, but the answer seemed to elude her, like a puzzle with a piece missing. That night, however, something would change. She had just finished another sketch when out of nowhere the painting fell. The frame crashed to the floor with a sickening thud, the glass shattering into countless pieces that scattered across the wooden floor. Emily froze, her heart skipping a beat. She hurriedly got up, her breath catching in her throat, and rushed to the fallen frame. The painting, however, wasn't damaged. It was the frame itself that had given way. As she carefully lifted the artwork, a faint glimmer caught her eye. Behind the painting, hidden in the back of the frame, was something unexpected. A small weathered leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed with age, rested against the canvas. Emily's hands trembled as she carefully removed the journal, her fingers brushing against the worn edges of the book. It felt almost sacred, as though it held something precious, something that had been waiting for her. With a mix of curiosity and apprehension, Emily opened the journal. The faint smell of old paper filled her senses as she flipped through the pages, each one delicate and fragile. Her eyes scanned the words written in neat, flowing handwriting until they landed on a specific entry. The date at the top of the page read August 17th, 1903. Emily's heart skipped a beat. The words below told a chilling tale. Today I rode the black horse across the bridge again, just like I always do. But something was different this time. The fog was thicker, and the world seemed to disappear around me. I felt the pull of something that I couldn't see but could feel with every beat of my heart. I heard a voice calling to me from the mist, but I couldn't make out the words. As Emily read on, the story became clearer. The journal belonged to a young girl only a few years older than Emily herself, named Isabella. Isabella's words chronicled the eerie events surrounding her disappearance. The last entry in the journal was particularly haunting. I feel as though I'm being pulled into the fog. I can't see the path ahead, but I know I must follow. The voice is louder now, calling me to cross the bridge one final time. And then the journal stopped. The last page was left blank, as if the author had never had the chance to finish her thoughts. Emily's mind raced, her hands gripping the journal tighter as the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. The girl in the painting, the girl riding the black horse through the fog, was Isabella, the girl who had vanished without a trace in 1903. It was no coincidence. The painting, the dreams, the journal. It was all connected. Isabella had been trapped in the same nightmare, crossing the bridge, searching for something just as Emily had been. The air in Emily's room grew colder, the weight of the mystery pressing down on her. She could no longer deny it. The painting wasn't just a portrait. It was a window into the past, a key to the enigma that had haunted the gallery for over a century. But what had happened to Isabella? Why had she disappeared? Emily's mind raced with questions, each one more urgent than the last. She couldn't stop now. She had to know the truth. The journal had provided the first clue, but it was just the beginning. Emily closed the journal, her mind already made up. She would follow the trail that Isabella had left behind. She would find out what happened to the girl in the painting, and in doing so, she would uncover the mystery that had been buried for so long. Her hands moved with determination as she placed the journal on the desk. She picked up her coat, threw it over her shoulders, and grabbed the lantern by the door. The night was dark, and the fog outside thick, just as Isabella had described. Emily could feel the weight of the past pressing against her, urging her forward. As she stepped out into the cold night, the fog seemed to swallow her whole. The air was damp, heavy with the scent of earth and rain. Her boots crunched against the gravel path as she made her way toward the bridge, the same bridge from the painting, the same bridge Isabella had crossed so many years ago. The lantern flickered in her hand, casting long, dancing shadows across the stone. The closer she got, the more she could feel the pull of the mystery, the sensation that something, or someone, was waiting for her. She reached the bridge, standing at the edge, the sound of the water below barely audible through the thick mist. Emily felt a chill crawl up her spine as she stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. The girl in the painting had crossed this bridge. Emily took a deep breath and stepped into the fog, determined to uncover the truth that had been hidden for over a century. But as the mist wrapped around her, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was no longer just a spectator in this mystery. She was part of it. The bridge, like the painting, was a doorway, one that would either lead her to the truth or trap her in the same fog that had claimed Isabella so many years ago. This section is meant to deepen the mystery while building up Emily's resolve to uncover the truth behind the painting, using vivid and haunting imagery to emphasize the connection between her and the girl in the painting. Emily's breath hitched as she stood at the edge of the ancient stone bridge, her eyes tracing the weathered archways that had witnessed a century of secrets. The fog curled thick around her ankles, swallowing the ground in a ghostly embrace, blurring the line between past and present. Each step forward felt heavier, as if the weight of history pressed upon her chest, making the night air suffocating. She reached the spot where the girl from the painting had vanished more than 100 years ago, the place that had haunted local legends and whispered through village tales. Her fingers brushed the cold, damp stone railing, the texture rough and moss-covered, a silent testament to the countless souls who had crossed before her. It was here that Emily sensed the truth lurked beneath layers of silence and shadows. Kneeling down, she carefully moved aside the thick roots and undergrowth creeping from the riverbank, her heart pounding wildly in her ears. And there, hidden in the muddy soil, she uncovered something that made her gasp, a small bundle wrapped in tattered cloth, fragile but unmistakably human. With trembling hands, Emily pulled back the cloth to reveal a child's remains, preserved eerily in the cold earth. Her eyes caught a thin braid of dark hair, knotted and tangled, strikingly familiar, an echo of her own, a link through time. The realization crashed over her in waves. This was the lost girl, the one who had vanished on the night painted so vividly a century ago. The body, long thought lost to myth and speculation, was now found beneath the bridge that had served as both passage and prison. The silence that enveloped the scene was punctuated only by the distant ripple of water against stone and the occasional hoot of an owl. Emily sat back on her heels, overwhelmed by the gravity of discovery and the chilling intimacy of this connection. The past was no longer a story. It was a reality she now carried within her. Every breath, every pulse tied her irrevocably to the girl who had vanished and to the secrets still waiting to be told. Days later, Emily found herself face to face with Detective Harding, a seasoned officer whose weathered gaze revealed a mix of skepticism and quiet respect. The police had confirmed the grim findings. The remains belonged to the missing girl from the painting, the child who had haunted the community's memory for generations without closure. The evidence was undeniable, a truth as stark as the cold stone beneath the bridge. But the revelation unleashed a torrent of conflicting emotions within Emily. Her discovery was monumental, yet it threatened to fracture everything she had held dear. The truth had power, but it also bore consequences. To reveal the girl's identity and story could unearth family secrets long buried, potentially casting shadows on reputations and shattering the fragile peace of the community. Conversely, silence risked dishonoring the girl's memory and allowing the past's pain to fester unseen. Emily grappled with this ethical dilemma, torn between duty and loyalty. She felt the weight of generations on her shoulders, her resolve tested by the fear of what truth might unleash. The community's whispers had always been wary, guarding their collective history with cautious reticence. Now, standing at the crossroads, Emily was the guardian of that fragile balance between unveiling justice and preserving peace. One night, she returned to the bridge alone, the street lamp's soft glow cutting through the mist like a fragile beacon in the darkness. Emily stood motionless, the cool breeze brushing her cheeks as she stared into the river below, its waters flowing flowing silently beneath the arches. The stillness around her was profound, a heavy calm filled with tension. Her silhouette was a solitary figure against the glowing streetlight, embodying the solitude and weight of the decision she faced. In that quiet moment, Emily confronted the depths of her own conscience. The bridge was not just a physical structure, but a symbol, a threshold between silence and truth, between the past and the future. As the fog swirled and thickened, she understood that to cross this threshold meant more than solving a mystery. It meant reconciling with the shadows within herself and within her community. It meant choosing whether to bring light to the darkest corners or to let secrets remain buried in the cold earth forever. Emily's journey was no longer just about the missing girl. It had become a test of courage, trust, and transformation. The past had spoken through the painting, the journal, and now the discovery beneath the bridge. But the story's true end was yet unwritten, resting in Emily's hands, and heart poised on the fragile edge of revelation and healing. I'm ready to help you write the detailed section for 3501 to 5000 following your specifications. However, writing a full 3,600-word passage in a single response exceeds my current output limits and best practice for readability and engagement. How about I deliver this section in multiple parts? I can start with the first part, around 1,200 words, focusing on Emily's inner struggle and her seeking support, and then continue with subsequent parts until we reach the full length you want. Would you like me to proceed this way? Emily stood at the edge of the village hall, the weight of the moment pressing down on her like the thick fog that had haunted her nights. The room was filled with townspeople, faces worn by years of whispered rumors and unspoken fears. The walls, draped in old tapestries and dimly lit by flickering lanterns, seemed to close in as if the very air was holding its breath. At the center, Emily held the fragile leather-bound journal, the silent voice of a girl lost to time. Her fingers trembled not from the chill, but from the surge of courage swelling within. This was the moment she had avoided for so long, the unveiling of a truth buried for over a century. The story of Isabella, the girl who had vanished without a trace, was no longer a ghostly whisper in the shadows. It was real, and now it demanded to be heard. As Emily opened the journal, her voice broke the silence, steady but charged with emotion. She read the haunting entries, painting the vivid scenes of fog, a black horse, and a bridge that seemed to trap souls in its misty grasp. The words wove a tapestry of sorrow and mystery, carrying the crowd back through time to a night long forgotten. Whispers rippled through the hall, some skeptical, others filled with sorrow. Yet as Emily's voice grew stronger, the room fell into a solemn hush. The tale was no longer fiction. It was their shared history, their collective pain. The discovery of the remains under the bridge confirmed the journal's truth, and with it, a haunting chapter of the village's past finally surfaced. Faces softened, tears welled, and hands reached out to grasp one another. The community, once fractured by silence and suspicion, began to knit itself together through empathy and understanding. Emily's revelation was a catalyst, a spark igniting healing where only shadows had existed. Outside, the mist began to lift the first rays of dawn, piercing through, casting a warm glow over the village. It was as if the light itself was embracing the collective heartache, transforming it into hope. Neighbors gathered in the square, sharing stories, tears, and embraces. The bridge, once a symbol of loss, now stood as a testament to resilience and remembrance. Emily looked up, her gaze meeting the faces around her, those who had doubted, those who had feared, and those who now chose to heal. In that moment, the weight on her chest lightened. The past was no longer a prison. It was a foundation upon which the village could rebuild. The journey was far from over, but the first step had been taken. Through truth and compassion, the community found the courage to face its shadows, turning grief into a beacon of light for generations to come. Emily stood in the crisp morning air, the village square slowly coming to life around her. The soft murmur of voices, the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze, and the warm glow of the rising sun painted a scene of quiet reverence and hope. Today was a day unlike any other, a day where the past and present converged in a delicate dance of remembrance and renewal. The community had gathered to honor the little girl whose story had haunted them for generations. The girl who had vanished into the fog over a century ago, whose absence had left an unspoken ache in the hearts of many. Now they stood together, united by a shared purpose to remember, to heal, and to begin anew. Emily felt the weight of the moment settle softly upon her shoulders. As she looked around, faces lined with years of worry and whispered rumors softened into expressions of empathy and compassion. Children clung to their parents' elders, clasped hands tightly, and neighbors exchanged quiet nods of understanding. There was a collective breath, held a pause in time that spoke of connection between the living and the lost, the remembered and the forgotten. A wooden platform had been set near the ancient stone bridge, adorned with white lilies and flickering candles that danced with the morning breeze. At its center rested the painting, no longer a mere artifact of mystery, but a beacon of healing. The image of the girl riding her black horse through the misty bridge now shimmered with newfound light, a symbol of resilience and the enduring spirit of the village. Emily stepped forward, her footsteps steady, despite the swirl of emotions inside her. She reached the podium, her eyes briefly meeting the familiar faces that had walked alongside her on this journey of discovery. The crowd hushed, anticipation rippling through the air like the gentle waves of the nearby river. With a voice clear yet tender, Emily began to speak, weaving the story of the lost girl, the painting, and the revelations that had come to light. She spoke not only of sorrow, but of hope, the courage it took to face buried truths, and the strength found in embracing pain to foster healing. Her words painted a tapestry of forgiveness and renewal, reaching into the hearts of those gathered. Tears glistened on cheeks, hands reached out to comfort one another. The village was shedding its silence, replacing it with stories and shared humanity. Emily felt the invisible threads of connection tighten, binding past to present sorrow to solace. As the ceremony unfolded, elders recited prayers, children released white doves into the sky, their wings catching the sunlight as they soared free. Songs rose softly, melodies of remembrance and life mingling with the gentle hum of nature. It was a symphony of healing, each note a step toward wholeness. Later, the painting was carried carefully back to the gallery, placed in a place of honor where it could tell its story openly. No longer hidden or feared, it became a testament to the power of truth and the promise of renewal. Visitors to the gallery paused before it, sensing the depth of emotion woven into the brushstrokes, feeling the quiet strength that radiated from the canvas. Emily stood before the painting, the same girl's eyes meeting hers across the years. A soft smile curved her lips, a smile of peace, acceptance, and completion. The journey had been arduous, filled with shadows and light, but she had emerged transformed. The mission that had called to her from beyond time was fulfilled. The room seemed to glow, the painting illuminated by gentle light that seemed to pulse with life. It was as if the canvas itself breathed, whispering of secrets laid bare and wounds beginning to heal. The community's pain had found its voice, and in that voice was the seed of rebirth. Emily turned away from the painting, stepping back into the world that awaited. The bridge between past and present was crossed, the path forward lit by understanding and compassion. She carried within her the legacy of a lost girl, and the promise of a community reborn, a story now forever etched in the light.